And good evening to our College Clinic monthly accountability group webinar. I am Brandy Ray Hicks, and I am a college coach at College Clinic, and we help transition students and their parents into college and beyond through academic preparedness, financial literacy, and basic life skills. And you have joined us for our monthly webinar for the month of November, and our subject this evening is the 10 tips you need to look for college scholarship funding. Now, it's never too early to look at scholarship funding. It's never too late as a high school student, if this is your senior year and you're going through the college application process. There's no wait that needs to wait any longer. You need to start today. And thankfully, you have joined our webinar to get to understand, like, where are we going to start looking for scholarships? A lot of our parents and teachers and educators and students always give us feedback in our workshops that they are inundated with the emails that they receive when they register on a website looking for college scholarship. If that is you, if you are a parent that is overwhelmed or a student that is overwhelmed with emails and not knowing which scholarship search leads to valid funding, leads to an organization that's actually going to read your application and that actually pays out the funding. So we have devised a worksheet. And for those of you guys that are joining us on Zoom, I'm getting ready to share our screen so you can have an opportunity to see all of the resources that we have for our students. And I'm going to go ahead and share the screen. I'm not going away. Brandy is up here in the right-hand corner, but this allows you to see the screen of what are the 10 things that you need when searching for a scholarship. Now, when you're looking for scholarship searches, you have to determine how much scholarship money is needed for college. Just this past week, I was working with students in the college application process, and I was talking to them about the FAFSA process and making sure that they had completed and received their student aid report, which means that about less than 4 weeks, now I think this is around 2 weeks, that the government, the Department of Education, gives a letter or sends a letter electronically or mails it to students' home to let them know how much money they will be responsible or for paying back in loans, or what they will receive as Pell Grants. Grants start with the letter G. Grants start with the letter G. Grants start with the letter G. Gifts start with the letter G. So a grant is a gift, meaning that it is given or gifted to the student based on merit or academic achievement or community service involvement or some type of requirements on the application. Now, loans that you receive from the federal government have to be paid back within 6 months of withdrawing from college or graduating from college. A lot of parents and students, aging students that know about financial aid know that FAFSA or financial aid is no joke. And when they mean 6 months to a day after that you graduate or withdraw, that they'll start looking for their installments. But scholarships is also a gift to the student where they don't need to pay back money. And so when you're trying to determine how much scholarship or grant money you may need in place of or in support of borrowed money from the government, you need to make sure that you're taking the total of the tuition minus the support that you will be receiving and see where your financial shortfall is. It's always okay to apply for more than you need. My mom always have a saying that says that I'd rather have and not need than need and not want. So we encourage our students to apply for as many scholarship opportunities as they possibly can. That's why when you hear about students that are reaching or receiving over $400,000 worth of scholarship, is because they played the scholarship numbers game. The more scholarships that you apply to, the more no's that you'll hear, but the greater amount of yeses you will receive if you never even try. So you want to make sure that reading the directions clearly on the various websites and the requirements of the scholarship to make sure that you're even eligible. Make sure that you always have a transcript or possible letters of recommendation from people in the community that can speak to the awesomeness of your student. And students, you want to ask for an English teacher or someone to review your scholarships to make sure that you are conveying the best message to the funder of the scholarship. Now, you want to get into the practice of scholarships. For parents that are watching, you know that looking for a job is a job within itself. Let me say that again for parents that are joining us live. Looking for a job is a job within itself. So scholarships are for students looking for money to pay for their education. Their students, their full-time job is to be a student. Their subset of that job, other duties as required, you know, that small print that us parents know that are in the application process. That same theory goes for students that are looking to go to college, that they cannot forget the scholarship part of the search. This typically needs to happen the earlier, the better. Don't be intimidated by if you are a 9th, 10th, or 11th grader that think that they don't need to be looking for scholarships now. That is false advice if you've ever heard it. And so if you are in the 9th, the 10th, and the 11th grade, the scholarship starts now. The way that you start looking for scholarships is by keeping a record of when the scholarships are being released for open enrollment of their applications and earmarking it a year from now or 2 years from now of actually completing it. You as parents and students can actually use that as practice. If you have a 10th or 11th grader that sees an application that's due December the 1st, why not pull the application and start working on it a year ahead of time? Why? Number one, it gets the student prepared in a scholarship search mode. Number two, it helps them with their college essay writing skills. And number three, it helps you create a calendar of scholarship deadlines so a student is accustomed to know when these open up, when they close, and what opportunities that they have financially to get more money for their education. So a college clinic has put together a list of 10 tips to search for college scholarships. And so if you're a parent or student that's joining us via Facebook or the Zoom, share this with your group of people. Make sure that you share this. Make sure that you tag somebody that needs this information. Those of you all that are joining us up until November the 30th, this is a free opportunity for a lot of parents to jump in. Our workshops are free. They're online because we know that the expense of college is expensive and these workshops are so necessary. So let's jump into the content that we have today and our worksheet. And so for those of you all that are joining us on Zoom, I'm going to increase my screen just a little bit so you can see on your end. And so I give you 10 tips to look for. And so I'm also going to share with you my screen of the search engine of how to actually look for it. Just like back in the day when we wanted to find out something about the history of whatever animal that we were reporting on our book report in the 3rd grade, we went to the old school Britannica encyclopedias, pulled it off the shelf, and thumbed through the pages to find that we looked for. what we were looking for. The same process applies when you're searching for scholarships for your students. We're just using Google instead of good old Britannica. So the first you want to start is your local United Way or community foundation. I'm going to stop the share of my screen so I can pull up my website search so you guys can take a look at it from your end to see, like, where is she actually finding all of this stuff. Let me give you a shared screen. Bear with me a moment. So you should be able to see my screen. And so no matter, I'm just using Atlanta as a reference because I live in Atlanta, but most of our scholarship tips work in your neighborhood. You have to find the method that works for you. So the United Way typically has a website called 211. If you need to look for different community resources, you can look at your city's United Way 211 online database to search for scholarships. So all I did was search for scholarships in my neighborhood. And so as you can see by our search screen, all we did was put in scholarship in our zip code, and a list of providers has come up for a search. There's about 14 locations that provide some type of merit-based or academic or community service-based scholarships for students to go to college. So that is step number one. Check your local United Way. If you're looking at a shared split screen with us on our Zoom, those of you all that are joining us Facebook Live, we've tagged the link to where we are live in our Zoom chat room, looking at different scholarship searches on our web engine. And so as you can see, there are 14 different searches. Now, all you have to do, like Britannica, is to dig down and narrow search in each one of the listings that are there and good old-fashioned calling. This is going to take some time to prospect mine to see which opportunities are available for you that are still open. So number one in the scholarship search is the United Way or Community Foundation. The next in our scholarship search, as we keep looking on our list, and I'm going to be flipping between screens back and forth so you'll have an opportunity to see what's going on, is that now we have the second one, which is inquiries about scholarship opportunities at your parents' or family members' place of employment. Ooh, this is a good one. So a lot of you guys saw my recent post on social media where I had listed Burger King as a scholarship opportunity. Now, I am going to, again, split my screen so you can see, those of you all that are on Zoom, you know that we are an interactive workshop that we get an opportunity to bounce back and forth to see what type of scholarships are available. So you should be able to see my shared screen. Let me make sure that you see what I see. Hold on one second, everybody, because I have a lot of screens open. It's amazing when technology allows you to share your screen. So let me bring my screen back up. Burger King. Now, I remember I was working at one of our schools in Cleveland, and one of the students had mentioned to me, well, I don't think that that applies to me because my parent works in a fast food industry. And I said, well, which one? And the student said, my parent works at Burger King across the street from here. And I know that my family cannot financially contribute to my college education, as well as I don't think that my parents' job is a place that gives out scholarships. Now, parents, it is okay to inquire at your place of employment, does your job offer academic scholarships or some type of giving fund towards rising high school seniors that are going? So when I looked into it, Burger King has a scholarship opportunity for high school students. Look at this opportunity. So the requirements are, Now raise your hand on Facebook as well as in Zoom if your student meets these requirements if they're a high school senior. Okay, number one, have a strong academic record with a minimum GPA of 2.5. Well, that's a decent GPA for those students that think scholarships are only dedicated to those students that have a 3.5 GPA or above. Be passionate about serving in the community. Passionate and serving in the community, a lot of high schools require that their students complete a certain number of community service hours. And even if your school does not have that as a graduation requirement, a lot of scholarships, i.e. Burger King, there are a lot of scholarships that are looking at not only the grades and the test scores, but how well-rounded are your students being outside of school, work, and sports. And so they want to see an up level of community service, not the 5 hours that they may have spent handing out campaign flyers, but more than 20 hours plus looks attractive to a college admission officer. Number 3, be a high school senior, Burger King employee, spouse, domestic partner, or child of an employee. Now, I need you to hear me clearly with the directions, because some of you may have just bolted because they saw Burger King scholarship and, oh, I may not qualify. But the third bullet point says, be a high school senior, a Burger King employee. That means that if you are an adult learner and you work at Burger King, then you can apply to spouse or domestic partner. That means that if your wife or your wife or your husband works at Burger King, you can apply for a scholarship too, or a child of an employee, meaning that I work at Burger King and my daughter or son can apply for the scholarship. And so this is for graduating seniors that plan to attend for 2 or 4 year accredited college or vocational training. That means that a student doesn't have to go to a traditional 4-year school, that a 2-year, a technical or a vocational college still counts. And so they give 3 students a $50,000 college scholarship. All you have to do is to be a U.S. citizen, have graduated high school within 3 years, that you're applying to become a full-time freshman, that you have at least a 3.3, that's for the $50,000 scholarship. You have to have certain ACTs or SAT scores, but scholarships ranging from $1,000 to $50,000 is open from now. Well, it started October the 15th to December the 15th. Now we have a little over 3.5 weeks to apply for this scholarship. Raise your hand on Facebook and Zoom if you are going to have your high school students apply for this scholarship. The scholarship is very easy to apply to, but even your local fast food restaurant has scholarship opportunities. Isn't that pretty cool? So you've already gotten 2 sources. Let's keep looking to see which other sources that we can look at. I'm gonna go ahead and go back to my list, and I'm gonna read these to you. So the next 2 searches go hand in hand. You're gonna look at the scholarship or the scholarship opportunities at the university or college that your student is applying to. So again, Zoom, I'm going to share my screen and we're going to toggle back and forth between these screens so you can have a clear understanding of how the scholarship process works. Because there's a lot of back and forth looking at different windows and determining what information is the best for you. So I have my live Zoom class looking at Georgia State University, which that is the local school here in the downtown in Atlanta, Georgia. So say for instance that your student is interested in going to Georgia State University or whatever school that they're interested in. Each college has a web page full of the scholarships that the college offers. Now, these scholarships are only available when your student says yes. This is why you have just realized that this is the second year that financial aid, the FAFSA applications are now open October 1 as opposed to January or February or March of the year, because students and parents need to know where their kids are going as opposed to waiting to the last minute to find out how much money the government's getting, and then all of the deadlines are running up to each other. So this is why a lot of students are now going for early decision or early action in the fall of their senior year, knowing where they want to go to, so they can go ahead and say yes and start applying for merit-based or other types of scholarships that their future college offers. Again, so you can take a look at the different scholarships that are available at your particular college for out-of-state and in-state school students. And so the first tier of this is looking at the particular college to see what scholarships are available. The second subset of that tier is you have to look at the college in which they're accepted to. So first, they're accepted to the university. I'll use Georgia State undergrad as an example. So your student is accepted to Georgia State University undergraduate, and they are enrolled into the Andrew Young School of Policy Studies. So if a student is going to a particular university, there's a College of Business or a Department of Science or a Department of Law or a Department of whatever that falls within wherever they're majoring in. Those particular departments or colleges have a second tier of money. Sometimes they advertise it on their website, other times they don't. It's relationship based. A lot of scholarships are not posted because they want to see how bad the student wants it. So within this example of Georgia State, as you can see, that the college has a list of merit-based, community-based, and other scholarships available. And then the school or the college that your student is majoring in has a subset of money. And so what you want to do as the parent is to encourage your student to start picking up the phone and calling that particular school or department to introduce themselves. This is when the student resume and the letter of recommendations come in handy, because you're going to start pitching your academic success to those particular majors and colleges to see what type of scholarship information is available that's posted or not posted. And so this is where you put on your Carmen Sandiego. Wait, no, who was the explorer? It was Carmen Sandiego. This is when you put your thinking cap on and start really data mining into the particular college to look for those scholarships. So the first one, we were looking at the United Way. The second one, we were looking at your place of employment to see. And I'm going to ask for those of you all that jump in to make sure that you remember to mute your line to make sure that we're getting a clear recording. But you want to make sure that you are looking at your place of employment, the United Way, your college that your student will be looking to apply to and get accepted to, as well as the department or college within the university that they will be enrolling into. Now, isn't that some great information? We've only given you 4, right? You're thinking, this is probably not as hard as I think, right? So the next step is to look in your field of study. I want to make sure that you guys are looking at the screen that I'm looking at. So let me go back and flip just a little bit so you'll have a clear view of what we're looking at. So the hot career focus, our major focus now is STEM. STEM, for those of you all, or STEAM that are new to that acronym, stands for science, technology, engineering, arts, or math. And so for those students that are interested in pursuing a career in any one of those fields, that they want to put that simple search engine into their Google search. So on our screen, as you can see, I just typed in STEM scholarships. I'm a female, but STEM scholarships for female, the class of 2018. Something very general. So there's lots and lots of scholarships. But the one that stuck out to me was the merit-based scholarship for minority students. Well, I'm a minority because I'm female. I'm a minority because I'm African American. And there's some others demographics that make me a minority. So we're going to click on, just because this is one of the top ones there, this is the Jackie Robinson Scholarship for Minority Students. Voila. And I just did this search literally 10 minutes before I got on this webinar, because I wanted to make it so organic that I know that general search engines do produce results. And so here is the Jackie Robinson Foundation. We all know who Jackie Robinson is. And if you don't know, start Googling. But Jackie Robinson is a famous African-American baseball player. Was a famous Black American baseball player. But there is a scholarship that's open November 1st to February the 1st. And these are students that need financial needs for minority students who aspire to attend college, but also to guide them through the process of higher education. Let's just look at the application information. They've been providing scholarships. Applications are due February 1. Some of you students and parents that are on this webinar know that you guys got some homework to do. Hopefully you guys are out starting tomorrow. Yes, school is out this week. As an educator, sorry, I got so excited. School is out this week for our program that gives us teachers a break. But here are the eligibility requirements for the Jackie Robinson Scholarship Foundation. Be a graduating high school student or senior, plan to attend a four-year institution, show leadership potential. So there's the catchphrase: show leadership potential and demonstrate a dedication to community service. There it arises again. I just talked about how community service is so invaluable for your seniors application process. If they don't have any community service hours, what are you doing this week? There are a lot of volunteer opportunities that happen. If your student is wall to wall with work during the week, there are weekends, holidays. They have about 3 to 4 days off. Parents, encourage your students to take this time and use it wisely. They're coming up on winter break. They have spring break. The kids are out one day, at least at minimum 1 day a month for their entire school year. Pick a day. So volunteer service hours are typically 4-hour service hours, and don't serve alone. Bring your friend, bring your boo, bring a teammate, bring somebody that's going to go through this process with you. Okay. You need to demonstrate evidence of financial need, which means that if you receive free and/or reduced lunch, or your student aid report, when you fill out financial aid, says $0 that your family will contribute to the student's college education, that's how you provide evidence of financial need. Be a U.S. citizen. There's different SAT and ACT score requirements, as well as, well, that's it. So very minimum, a 21 on an ACT, I hear, is pretty average. So this is something that your students can apply. Deadline, February 1. If you're a parent online watching this live or in our Facebook group can see this is a scholarship that their student can apply. See, this gets easy, right? All right, so let's go back to our list. Next on our list is faith-based organizations. Now, if you attend a church and they love on you, or a synagogue or a place of worship, your faith-based organizations may have scholarship funds available. There are a lot of churches out there that believe in their congregation. Now, look, if you only go to church on, what do they call it? Christmas, Easter, CME. If you are a church attender that only goes to church during CME, for those of you all that are joining that do not know the acronym of CME, that is a connotation or an acronym for you only go to church on Christmas, Easter, and Mother's Day, which means that if you have a big mama, an auntie, a cousin, or a relative that is in the church choir that attends a church, that they need to inquire, ask them to inquire, are there any scholarships available for members or for people that are in the neighborhood that the community church is reinvesting into their neighbors. So don't leave out faith-based organizations. That doesn't mean that you particularly, and they have different requirements. Sometimes you have to be a member. Sometimes they really want to see highlighted community service and tolerance for other people's choice for their own particular religious preferences. So make sure that you're reaching out to your personal network of faith-based organizations to see if there are scholarships available. The next is fraternities and sororities. Now, for those of you that do not know anyone that's in a fraternity or sorority or does not know what that means, students, when you are in school, there are different teachers and administrators that wear Greek paraphernalia that is distinctive by different colors. So you may see teachers and administrators wearing the colors pink and green. That means, and there maybe their lanyard says AKA. That means that they are a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, which means that they may have access or knowledge about scholarships that their local chapter organization is offering. Now, I think yesterday may have been National Omega Psi Phi Day. And so I looked up some information that there are scholarships that at least here in Atlanta, that are available. I just saw one for Delta Sigma Theta here in Atlanta, Georgia. So students, you probably want to ask your parents, do they have any fraternity or sorority members that have information about their chapter giving scholarships? If you don't have anybody in your family, then you need to start with your counselor, start with the football coach, start with the principal, start with your teachers to see what type of paraphernalia. You've seen what car they drive. Do they have a particular Greek license plate on their tag? Are they wearing gold boots on Spirit Day? Or what is signifying that someone in your school is a part of a Greek organization? Now, I just Googled Delta Sigma Theta. For those of you that don't know that organization, that is a female sorority that is a national chapter. And so they have grant opportunities on their website, this chapter organization. Now, take a look at this website, the East Point College Park Delta Sigma Theta chapter in Atlanta, Georgia. And again, you got to search your own local network, but now you have tips and tools of how to look or where to even begin to look. Is that this one says that a limited amount of scholarships in the amount of $1,200 each. Ooh, there are books that are $1,200 depending on what major that you go in, but they will be awarded to African-American male and female high school seniors who attend metropolitan Atlanta schools. That means that applications are required through a packet, a transcript, a counselor verification, and 2 letters of a recommendation. And so all they ask is for you to submit an inquiry email to the chapter in order to find out more information, which means that it probably has not been released, but you'll start getting the mailing and the information about when the scholarships are available. So one of the search tools is for you to check out the fraternities and sororities of your family members or school representatives that may be a part of a fraternity or sorority with a local chapter that has a scholarship opportunity. Look how easy this gets, right? So I hope this is helping you feel like scholarship searches should not be that intimidating, because even though they are, there's a wealth of information that's out there as well. Let's keep looking. So the next 3 are pretty self-explanatory, but it just requires for students to keep talking to those that believe in their college dreams. The next one, or number 7, is the High School Alumni Association. A lot of high schools have a college scholarship fund that an alumni has provided to give back to rising college students. Like my brother and his friends that graduated in class of 2000 at Shaker collectively got together on their own initiative and pulled their money together. A group of Patrick's friends pulled their money together and set up a scholarship fund for African-American males graduating from Shaker. And so annually they give out this money as a support to the next generation of African-American males graduating from Shaker. Now, as students and parents, you need to constantly ask, which goes to number 9, which plays off of number 7, number 8, is to constantly have the communication with your counselor, because some of these scholarships come up at the spur of the moment. And so there may be a generous alumni in December that says, hey, I have an extra bonus. Let me earmark some money to give back to my high school alumni association. So you always want to check back to see if there is a scholarship, because a lot of these $500 scholarships add up. So don't dismiss the smaller scholarships waiting on the $25,000 scholarship. Your counselor has a list of the scholarships that were provided to them. Either they generated the list, the district gave it, it's an ongoing list that the senior counselor has cultivated, but every single high school counselor, it may not be mandated by law, but I'm sure every principal, it should be mandated, I'm sure it's mandated somewhere, but every counselor has a list. And students need to seek out that list. Sometimes it's in the counselor's office, sometimes they printed it out, sometimes it's a portal on the school's website, but counselors are the first stop of looking for a scholarship. And lastly, College Clinic has a $1,000 scholarship. I am so pleased to, my board of directors and I are so pleased to always honor this scholarship opportunity. So if you are a rising college freshman, class of 2018, high school senior, the College Clinic for our 3rd year in a row is giving a $1,000 college scholarship to a deserving student on an essay contest, and the topic is write your graduation speech to the class of 2018. I think that's so cool that we came up with this topic, because it takes the stress away from students selecting a topic or being forced to write a topic that they have limited interest or knowledge about. And so this scholarship is an opportunity for students to use their voice of how impactful their senior class has been to them, and what are some motivational or inspirational messages that they will say to this group that they may not ever see holistically again. And so the essay submission deadline is December the 31st, and it's located on our website. All you have to do is copy and paste that essay into the link on our website, and it goes directly to my cell phone. And so we have over 27 submissions. This has been our largest year to submit or receive submissions, and it's so exciting to start to read the essays and to hear what students have to say to their other peers in class of 2018. So we are an organization that does not check for grammar. We check for your heart. And what is the message or the theme that you're trying to create that's impactful, transformational, and worthy of $1,000? And it's highly competitive. Our first year went to a student that was a graduate of the Ted Ginn Academy in Cleveland, Ohio. The last year was to Rodney Warren. He is now a freshman as a engineering student, industrial engineering student at Mississippi State. And we look forward to helping our third rising freshmen to college and to help support them with their academic dreams. So let's run through the hit list real quick so you guys can take a look at this. Let me go ahead and share our screen once again. This doesn't seem hard to look for scholarships, right? All somebody needed to do, like I tell my students and parents, like I was that high school student that was like, look, I'm overwhelmed. Just give me a checklist. If I can go through the list and check it off, bam, I have accomplished what it is that I'm going through. So I want to make sure that all workshops that we provide are easy and simple, and there's checklists, so it makes it manageable for someone that is a first-time college student, or someone that just wants to just have an easier process than one that may have been given to them of just self-surfing. So number one, your local United Way or community foundation. Contact United Way 211 for scholarship opportunities online or by phone. They're open 24 hours. Get off of this broadcast and call your local United Way 211 and get that list. Number two, inquire about scholarship opportunities at your parent or family member's place of employment. Don't forget places like Burger King. Every place counts. While you sitting at the Thanksgiving table, look, students and parents, while you're sitting at the Thanksgiving table and everybody's eating your peach cobbler, you need to go around the room and share what your thoughts about it, where you're going to college, and take a list and ask every parent or everybody where they work and start asking them to ask their employer, do they offer scholarship opportunities? Number three, your college that you will be accepted to has a scholarship opportunity, but it's only available when you say yes to the college. Also, the major or department or college that you're enrolling to, whatever your major is, they have a separate set of money available too, but it's only available when you say yes. Number five. Field of study. Whatever you're interested in majoring in college, you want to put that into your search engine. Today we looked at STEM related majors. We popped up the Jackie Robinson Foundation, which is due in a couple of months. What did they say? February 1. So type in if you're interested in pharmacy, if you're interested in psychology, if you're interested in becoming a teacher, put that into your Google search engine and start looking at what comes up. Faith-based organizations. If you are a member of a faith-based organization or your immediate family member is, make sure that you talk to them and that fellowship to see if there are scholarship opportunities available. Fraternities and sororities, no matter if it's Black, Greek, or predominantly white institutions that have fraternity or Greek organizations, those are civic organizations that give back to the community. And so check into your teachers or administrators or family members that are part of fraternities and sororities to see if their local chapter have any scholarship opportunities. The next is your high school alumni association. Check to make sure that there may have been a person that may have left, of an alumni of the high school, that may have left a scholarship fund available for graduating seniors. Check with your counselor and make sure, did you get the most up-to-date list from your counselor to see if there are any scholarship opportunities that you have not connected with. Number 9 is make sure that you, on a weekly or a bi-weekly basis, check with your counselor to get the most up-to-date college scholarship information. And lastly, the $1,000 college scholarship that is available through College Clinic. The essay is due December 31st on New Year's Eve. We selected this date to give students and parents the opportunity to work on it during their holiday breaks, but the $1,000 scholarship is going to be available for the best graduation speech to the class of 2018. Woo! We made it! Yes. 10 tips and tools of how to search for college scholarship funding. There you have it. Thanks, you guys. Make sure that you do not leave out the college scholarship process, because just as important as it is getting into college is, secondly, or maybe reverse, just as important of finding all of the finances that it takes in order to get into college. The reason why our organization does not provide a running list of scholarships is because if I give you a list of scholarships today and it's for you to become a freshman, how are you going to find scholarship opportunities your sophomore, junior, and senior year? This is an opportunity for you to learn tools and techniques of finding banks and groups of scholarship information for kids going off to college and staying in college. Oh, one of the scholarship search that I remembered is an organization called the Foundation Center. They are located all across the United States. They have terminals inside different locations that you can search for scholarships. I actually, as a grad student in my doctorate program, that I went down, spent about an hour, and looked at the resources that you can't take out of the library for scholarship opportunities, and found a whole bunch of them. So you have to take the opportunity and designate time, at least an hour a week. The more searches that you come up with, the more applications that you submit for scholarship opportunities, the greater your chances of someone saying yes. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So students and parents, start the process. Even if your student isn't ready, start pulling these applications, start looking at the requirements, start having your student practice completing the application process, as well as getting those essays ready to submit. And so if you would like additional information, if you would like to get this worksheet, subscribe to our website so you can see up and coming information of how to download this video, as well as invite me out to your high school, your community organization, your youth group to do this presentation about college scholarship search, because I know someone watching needs to hear this information again. So once again, my name is Brandy Hicks. I am the CEO, which is College Encouragement Officer at College Clinic. And we help transition students and their families into college and beyond through academic preparedness, financial literacy, and basic life skills. Thanks for joining us on our training this evening. Have a great evening, students and parents that have been joining us. If you have any questions, make sure that you submit them to our website at info@collegeclinic.org, or visit our website at collegeclinic.org. We look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.